go live now. So it is 7:30. We're on. Um, boom, we're
Bam.
live. Wait.
Oh no.
And now we are in it. It's
You
never
made it.
official. for the-
You made it 10 seconds. Is that the longest you've ever gone?
He's Mm.
And we're in it.
What's Eric? There's a comment you always have in response to that. I say something like that was fast, and you're like,
Speed
That's
should
what she
impress you.
said.
yes. I'm glad that speed impresses you.
Yes. Oh, yes. That was the Chandler line. It bodes well for me that speed impresses you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your impatience will benefit both of us.
Jack, it was one of the hardest things in my life holding into That's What She Said over the
That's what she
weekend.
said. Oh my God. Are you just just accumulating them? Just saving them up, putting them on the side?
I think this one was so pent up. I just couldn't wait to just let it blow. But it was at
Juliana's birthday
the other
party.
day with the pinata, and that pinata was like definitely made of some sort of like.
My invitation must have gotten lost in the mail.
But it was definitely like made of some sort of space age steel.
You could
Yeah, I
break
think
the pinata.
The kids were having some trouble with it, and after 2 times through, Joan
It was loaded. It was loaded, Eric, just waiting to burst.
Yeah, it was ready, and but Joan said something like, "All right, this next time's through. What'd you say? This next time through, no spinning. Just gonna let you, something like I'm just gonna let you get right in and whack it as hard as you can, or something like that. Like no more spinning. Just gonna get right to it and whack it as hard as you can." And it's so hard for me not to yell. That's what she said in front of like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 10-year-olds. And I was just like, so I had to make it a point afterwards to be like, Joan, that was totally That's What She Said.
And I was like, I felt it. I felt it brewing in you.
Well, in a sense, I mean, in a sense, like you're not doing anything wrong because literally, that's what she said.
That's what she said.
I mean,
it's all the way your mind's at.
Yeah, totally. You put it on that person and be like, I can't believe you said that in front of kids. Be like, what do you say in front of kids? I was just saying that's what she said.
For all you knew, you heard the part of a conversation where I was saying to someone, blah, 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 blah. By the way, that's what she said. All you heard was that part, but I was letting him know who said it.
Right.
You're just in the gutter. You're a pervert.
Yeah. Go home, pervert.
Pervert. What are you doing at a kid's party? Pervert.
Put a flag on your lawn. Identify yourself. You're out of here.
I will say my second, I think, A+ comment for the day was when you were putting the candles on the cake, and Nathan was up there, and someone was looking for Juliana, and Juliana came working up, and someone goes, "Oh, there's the birthday girl." And I go, "Hey Nathan, someone just called you the birthday girl." And he goes, "I think you called me the birthday girl."
Oh. So many fun quagmires to navigate, but it was a good day. Juliana had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that cake was good.
Yes.
So, hey Joan, did you work out today?
I'm about to.
Who you're about to?
This. Yeah.
Cool. Man, is it bad? I don't even remember what the workout is today.
Oh, it's delicious. Light deadlifts and I think bar facing burpees.
Oh yeah.
Which is really, really fun. It reminds me of the open WOD that we had. Well, it went up 1 to 10 deadlifts and burpees, and then down the ladder.
Yeah, I don't remember if those were those bar facing in the open. Do you guys remember? Were they lateral? I think they were lateral. It was pretty quick.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
That was a fun one though. Yeah, that's a good one. How many workouts? You see, this is your second official month on the committed club because I'm counting Sugar WOD workouts now.
Thank you for that.
I'm counting.
Thank you for trusting what I'm doing in the she shed.
Yeah, I got to the point where I was like, the more I wanted to hold firm on it, And then I was like, yeah, but there's, there are a handful of people, like, especially this time of year, like Bob and Monique are gone basically all summer, but they're still putting workouts in. They're still posting in Sugar WOD. They're still connecting in Sugar WOD. And so I was like, you know what? I trust our community to not take advantage of my generosity. And if they do, it'll show, like it'll be obvious. So I get excited now when I was doing committee club this month and you got your 14 plus workouts and it felt good to write Joan because it's like, all right, it felt like the right decision to make that call. And that's all I need is that gut feeling. I think it felt better than trying to hold firm on this thing that I'm like, do I care that much that it has to be in the gym? Like if people can get to the gym, they will do their best to get to the gym.
I'm curious, with Affiliate U, did they give you guidelines? I mean, because you do tend to make decisions oftentimes based on your gut, right? And you love people, and that's the core of your decision-making principles. Does Affiliate U sometimes give you guidelines that you push up against because you are so people-driven?
Yeah, there are some things that they give you stuff, and it's rarely ever hard and fast, but they also will lean on the like, hey, like this may not feel right initially, but trust us, between the two of us, we have a lot of experience and you're just getting in your own way. And so there are some things where it's like, I don't know. But for something like the committed club, they just kind of give you the guide of say, hey, pick a number that makes sense. Jack, you and I talked about it a little bit, like what's a number that's like attainable, but it's attainable, but it also should be something that gets you there consistently enough that you're going to see the results. I could say 12 times a month, but 3 times a week we say is like the bare minimum, right? Like if you're getting in 3 times a week is the bare minimum. 4 times a week would be great, but stuff comes up. So that 14 was like, all right, well, at least 2 times a month, people should be getting a 4th day in, and then maybe that'll turn into a better habit. So they kind of like throw it out there and say, your gym, your people. And if you need to bounce back and forth with them to kind of like talk it out, they're there to do that. So it's cool.
That's cool. Well, I will say, confession time. I mean, and clearly it's not like it lasted, but it did feel like, what? Like I'm not part of this committed club. Like it takes actually more for me, more dedication to just to wake up and to slug it out in the shed when it's cold or this and that. Showing up to the gym, you get the reward of seeing people you love. And so, yes, it's
I think I felt that more too. I think I, just doing them here now, where right now I'm only at the gym 2 or 3 days a week, which is great. Like I miss everyone. Like I get serious FOMO, but I'm getting other stuff done. But it's like, some days, like when it's, around here, it's 90 degrees and it's muggy as hell and the mosquitoes are out all day, every day. And I'm sweet as can be. So they love me. And it is a commitment and it is work to just get out and do it. And so I think I started to appreciate that a little bit more too. It's like, if you're really giving it the effort it deserves, then why not? And I've always been very inclusive as a person. I go back. I wanted to be in everyone's friend group growing up. Like at lunch, I would go from table to table. I never sat at the same table. And I mean, like a day, not I'd be here for a few weeks. I'd be here for a few weeks. And
I was voted most friendly of my senior class.
I believe that. Most friendly. What do we say?
No, there was a biggest flirt category. I did not get biggest flirt. I got most friendly. But yes, I can relate to wanting to be in the different friend groups. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to exclude anybody. And like I said, I think we've developed enough of there's an understanding that it's like I can trust you guys. And like I said, if I get taken advantage of, that's, I don't know. You can answer that on Judgment Day when you're burning in hell. So it's
also, that'd be kind of sad if you're lying and making up WODs so that you could count a workout. I mean, then there's other issues that you are probably working through, right? Yeah. That's a bigger situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a different monthly service.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a premium service right there.
Still not taking clients, Jack? A lot of us could benefit from your life coaching.
Sure. It's $1,000 an hour.
It's good. That's good. Set it at a premium.
That's right.
Can I break that up to like just a minute? Can I do $1 a day for 1,000 days? Just give me one quick, I need 60 seconds of your best advice.
Yeah, but it's an upfront payment.
Son of a bitch.
You got to go on retainer.
But if I go day by day, is it $1.50? So is it like that? Like pay up front, you get the discount, but $1.50?
No, there's no installment plan.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can do $1 a day if you wanted to spread it out, but it's one. Yeah.
One what? Can you do that again? Have you ever heard of cash register?
No. What's that?
Oh man. Well, Joe, what is when you're working out at home, what is your biggest, how much when you have the girls with you? I'm just curious, when you have the girls with you and you're working out, how much of it is do you enjoy having the girls with you? Would you like it better if maybe they just gave you that time, or does it depend on the day, or does it depend on the workout? Personally, sometimes it's fun having the kids there depending on what the workout is. And sometimes it's I need you guys to go away for 15 minutes.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically what I typically try to do when I come to the 5:15 class, I wake up at 4:38 a.m. because 4:37, too much time. 4:39, not enough time. 4:38. And so whether I am going to the gym or working out in the shed, I still set the alarm for 4:38 for just continuity. And so during the week, I am out there and almost always back in and in the shower before they even wake up. So, when I know that I'm going to have a busy day, get in, get out. But on the weekends, or sometimes if it's a slower morning, I actually do very much love the opportunity to introduce this to them I really do see it as a learning opportunity. So I've sent you pictures, Eric. I make a whiteboard for each of us and I show them how to scale. And then even just last weekend, I think I was doing push-ups and I subbed Juliana for cartwheels, or we give her, she loves doing handstands, 3 attempts at handstands while I'm doing handstand push-ups. And then with Luch, since she can't read yet, I draw pictures on her board. So she's doing little jumping jacks or whatever it is. So I like showing them early on that this is something that you can scale, that this is something that's just part of the routine. So I would say once a week, I try to get them into it. And now, I mean, it's like anything else, right? For time's sake, sometimes it's easier to just take your kids' plates and put it in the kitchen. But then you're going to be, you have 15-year-olds who are still not taking their plates to the kitchen and helping you clean. If you put in the time early, then you got little machines who are helping you do your chores. So it's the same thing I'm hoping with fitness, that, we get it in early. We show that it can be fun, that it's just part of the day, hopefully instilling those healthy habits early. And that Juliana surprised the heck out of me in the best way. I didn't push her to do this kids triathlon at all. But her little friend was doing the Bay Ridge Kids Triathlon on her birthday. So on July 2nd. And she asked about it, and because Nathan's in that community. So Nathan signed her up. And so it was her idea. She was like, oh yeah, my best friend's doing this triathlon. I want to try this. And I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. And just seeing them enjoying the practice of moving and challenging themselves feels like it's, I don't know. It's setting in there somewhere. Seeds are planted.
I hope it is, right? I guess in my mind too, like sometimes it looks like we're just like suffering, and I can imagine they're looking like, why is he doing that to himself? But maybe one day they'll understand. But I try to keep
No,
it.
I think my kids see that I love it. Like they see that I'm happier after, to the point where if I'm having a bad time lately, I'm missing my dad. I'll be like crying in the middle of crying, and Juliana's like, Mom, do you want to take a little run to the beach? You think maybe you'd feel better? I'm like, I love you. You know me well. Yeah. I think they get it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fun. There was a workout recently where there was running, and I haven't really, like, I kind of guesstimated like a 200 and 400 around here. And I was going for the run.
There's an app that you can use to measure it.
Yeah, but it's the streets are weird here, so it's like I'm trying to do it, but it's like there's one-way streets here, and it's not exact. But is any gym actually exact? Like it's close enough, and honestly, for me, it's like it feels like a 200. I'm good, right? Like it feels like it. And I remember I went out one day, and Fiona started running with me, and I'm like, she's going full send out of the gate, which is my like. I'm not pushing it, but I'm also like, I'm built for comfort, not for speed. And we kind of do this lap around, and I'm waiting for her to kind of slow down a little bit so I can be like, sucker. She was going full send, and she kept up the whole way, and I'm like, why am I barely able to keep up with a 5-year-old? It's insane. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take Everett with me next time. I think maybe I'll be able to keep up with him better.
They're fast though. Fiona and Lucia, they were thick as thieves. They were cute, Jack. They were like, Lucia was just despondent when she thought Fee had gone. And and I was like, Lucia, what's wrong? She's like, my friend is gone. And then she saw Fee they were still loading up in the truck, and she's like, my friend. They were cute. They were running around together. They're fast, those two.
Yeah, they were quick. They were gone in a second. Those two are funny together. So funny. So, oh man. But yeah, well, that was the weekend, running around, working out, and kids. That's how it's going. So, what else you got going? What's going on with the summer? So, are you guys still teaching classes right now? Is there like a summer session, or what's the deal?
So no, we're not teaching. Oh, our students should be reading, so they've got their summer assignment. Because I got this promotion, this is my first year as a 12-month employee. So I'm kind of feeling out what that is. So I'm just doing a lot of planning, meetings, administration stuff, and working with students a little bit. Interview prep, which is fun. Jack, this is when I get to help the kids who want to be SEALs, and I'm interviewing them. Some of them just reveal the craziest red flags in this interview prep. It's fascinating getting into their heads. But yeah, a little.
Are they they're still in the yard? They're still around.
Some of them are still on the yard. Some of them I'm even doing online interview prep, which is amazing. I think online kids are even more like, there's a guard that goes down, and sometimes they reveal these very strange things. And I'm like, no, save that for your therapist. Let's reframe this. You're revealing that you're a bit of a sociopath. So let's explore this a little bit, how we can reframe this.
You may be missing the mark in the fact that might actually be an attractive. That might actually be an attractive feature for the community in which they're trying to get into.
That is correct. But when it's blatant and a little frightening, I don't know, maybe reframe it. No, should I just let it fly? It's okay to have a sociopath on your squad.
Let nature take its course.
Okay.
So it's not red flags like, my hobbies include like wakeboarding. I listen to Dave Chappelle stand up, and I love Al Qaeda. Like, it's not like nothing revealing like that. It's just like
it's like I like inflicting pain on others, or it's like I don't know. Or sometimes I just can't feel anything unless I'm in physical pain. And so sometimes I increase the pain to feel just something like and I'm like, ooh, okay.
Those sound like Pop Punk emo lyrics right there. That sound like a Taking Back Sunday lyric right there.
Yeah. I do love my job for all the nooks and crannies I get to explore in the human experience of young people developing.
Yeah. So how are you, like, I mean, you've had a lot go on in the last year. How are you, like, how are you finding the adjustment to, like, managing
how are
your
you
time
doing it? How are you not on drugs and in jail?
How do you still have a full head of hair from not pulling it all out? Like, what's your secret, Joan?
She is wearing a hat.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there's no hair in there.
Real hair.
No, if I could be completely honest about that. So, I mean, going through the separation and the divorce almost prepared me in a way for losing my dad, in the sense of, I mean, gosh, I have had some very dark moments. Jack knows there was one moment, not that I wanted to actually end my life, but just everything was so on fire, and I was in my car and I like really wanted to just drive fast and hard and crash into something. I calmed down, pulled over, and it was just me in the car, no kids in the car. But there had been some dark moments, and I think I did learn what works and what doesn't work as coping mechanisms. And so, I mean, really bringing it back to CrossFit, I learned that, like, even in your deepest, darkest pain, things that don't work, like, alcohol abuse, drinking by yourself. And not that I don't think I reached a dangerous level, but I did learn that making healthy choices can make such a freaking difference. So, like, after I lost my dad, I mean, first it was just absolute pain and shock and all of that. But I knew, I'm like, I have to keep making healthy choices, because otherwise this pain is just going to be even more debilitating. So forcing myself to still wake up, move a little bit, eat healthy, right? If I'm not eating healthy, then I'm feeling like crap. And then I feel worse about myself. So just realizing that the little things can actually help make the big things more manageable. So small choices, healthy choices, community, right? Like, just coming in there, seeing you guys, it's amazing how much that can start my day in a better way. And just breathing heavy. I mean, I talk about barbell therapy, like it really does help to breathe and move. And just the sense of routine also helps. I know that's a bit scattered, but making the right choices helps.
Little things.
Little bitty
things, yeah. What's your like, I don't say, like, would you say like the gym is your thing? Like, when you start to feel like things are slipping a little bit, like, what's the thing that do you have a thing that you go like, I just need to get back to this, and almost like a reset?
Yeah. So I would say, gosh, this is not like a poor me story, but it's feeling like these things are accumulating. But I'm not new to pain, in the sense that, when I was younger, my parents got divorced in 8th grade. My mom was diagnosed with cancer 3 months after that. She passed away when I was a sophomore in high school. So kind of a series of events like these past couple of years of just difficult things hitting me. And I have always leaned on exercise. I would say, I mean, honestly, the long run is always a go-to, because it's breathing, it's moving. It also allows all of kind of that surface level stuff, and like that physical pain that you can feel when you're in grief, it mutes that a little bit and lets that fade away so that you can kind of center yourself, actually look at like beautiful things around you, remember that there's still good in the world. So the long run. So like when I was in New Jersey after my dad passed away, my brother has he has a reservoir around him, and I went and I ran a 5-mile loop, and I think I did that like every day, just, you know, not fast or anything, but the long run.
Yeah.
But now that I've been CrossFitting more, there is also a great satisfaction in like 5 rounds of something, right? Like if I need to get a workout in, I'm going to do 5 rounds, 3 different movements. And there's a pleasure. There's a simple delight. There's a sense of accomplishment of like, I'm chipping away at these rounds and I'm going to finish this. And then when you finish that, I don't know, it just feels a little bit better. And you feel like you at least did something good in the day, even if the rest of the day was just a painful, shitty mess. You got to move a little bit. And of course, it comes down to control, right? We all delude ourselves, this illusion that we have control over anything. But in that moment of the workout, I can control my body and I can control how fast I go. I can listen to my body. I can be in touch with my body, which for me is really important, of listening to my body. So it's all these mind games of, you know, that brief sense of control and release, and something that is reliable. And that for me, movement has been something that I go back to again, since I was like 11 years old. Of I can go take a run and I'll feel better. So pretty powerfully intertwined with who I am.
When you go for those runs, do you listen to music or do you go, what's your, I guess, do you listen to music or do you music free and just take it and let your thoughts be your thoughts? And
I would say it depends. It depends. Jack has actually been instrumental in this, in my journey.
This Jack?
This Jack.
That Jack.
This Jack right here.
Which one?
This Jack years ago when we were in where is he? Wait, is that it? There we go. That's the other way. Anyway.
Oh, there he is.
Years ago, and this actually goes back to food too, which we can bring in your 800-gram challenge. But years ago, Jack and I were having a conversation about, it was 2016. I was still trying to lose the weight from having the baby, having Juliana. And I was like, I can't shed this last 5 pounds. And then we got into talking about my habits. And I did reveal how, you know, on the weekend, I just like, I drink too much, I eat too much, right? It's that pattern. And Jack, of course, in his way, got me to, identify the fact that it was an escape, right? Like it was escaping. So the week I had jammed so packed and I was so perfect with my eating. And then I just felt like I needed to explode and escape. And Jack just kind of looked at me in the garage. He's like, well, what are you escaping from? You know, just like, what are you trying to escape from? And of course it set me on like this, like multi-year journey of like, what am I escaping from? Why am I in these destructive habits? Why does reality feel so difficult? What's the source of that? Why am I medicating this with, you know, food, alcohol, even like aggressive workouts that cause pain, right? So you can escape. So anyway,
because I can only feel anything when I increase the pain.
Maybe that's why it struck me so much, because it struck a chord in me personally. And I know how dangerous that can be. But anyway, Jack helped me to really explore why was I having trouble just being okay with the reality I was in. And I think that helped me get on a much healthier pattern of like, it's not a 0 or a 1, right? It's not on or off. It's healthy choices throughout your week. And sure, moderation, like everything in moderation, including moderation. You can't be perfect all the time, but also those enormous swings that I was doing were really unhealthy and very much emotionally driven. So
isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how we all kind of remember things differently?
How do you don't remember that at all?
I just remember I wanted her and Drew to get full depth on their wall balls. I mean,
they're still. We're getting there, Jack. We're getting there. We're getting there. They're so close. They're so
yeah. I just asked her, why won't you go to full depth?
Oh.
Next thing you know, I'm Eckhart Tolle and I got a book.
And you lost me.
Or no, maybe that's John Kabat-Zinn. Wherever you go, there you are.
I think it's funny, like hearing you, because so much resonates. I think about like when these things happen. I think it's one thing that's really easy for me to do is like let this one thing kind of set the tone for the rest of my day.
Yeah,
and just try to be a little bit more resilient. Like especially with the kids. Like I can have a morning where Fee just wakes up and she's in a mood, and like she'll wake up and she'll ask for TV out of the gate, and I'll be like, "Nah, babe, we'll maybe we can watch something later." And then instead of like, breakfast, she'll ask like this. I'm actually just like replaying yesterday. She wants some of the candy that she got on 4th of July for breakfast. Like, babe, no, we're not starting our day with candy. Like, I made you some yogurt, here's that. And it's like, she's asking for the things that she knows the answer. Like, I do think she knows the answer, but she's going to push the limits and hope that you break. And you just got to hold that line. And she gets fired up. And she gets fired up. And I would let that just like, take me down. Like the rest of the day, I'd be like, why? Why is she doing this? Why is she testing us? We have a whole day in front of us, blah, blah, blah. And I'm still, and I always go back. It was this one, it's this, I don't know where the story came from. I know it came from a book that I read to the kids, but it's also this TV show called Stillwater, where these little kids are friends with this panda, and this panda, who I think is supposed to be like some, person that is very well versed in ancient Chinese wisdom, and so it comes back to all these, he'll always, the kids will have this problem, and he relates it back to these old, I don't even want to say Chinese, Asian, whatever, like these, all these old fables, but they all have lessons in them. And it's this one where there's a story of where this, this empress or whatever is, they're walking through the woods and they come across this bog, and the empress doesn't want to get her silk robes wet in the bogs. And so she's ordering people around to get her. And there are these two monks there, and this one monk puts her up on his shoulders, walks through the bog, gets himself all covered in muck and goop or whatever, puts her down, and puts her down, so she's good, and she orders everyone to come on along and let's go. And then these two monks later are walking through the woods, and one of the monks is like, she was so rude to you, she didn't say thank you, you were willing to do that for her, and you can't believe blah blah blah. And he responds back to him, I put her down hours ago, why are you still carrying her? Ooh. And so it's such a, and that's one that I always come back to. Again, I got it from a kid's story, but it's such a good one. I would carry that load all day long. But Fee, 5 minutes later, is having a blast and as happy as can be and forgets it. And I just find myself like, I would let these things just, and one thing would happen and I would spiral and it would just take out the rest of my day. And I was like, oh, or I can just let it go and move on to the next thing. Like if it's and when it comes to food, we were talking about like emotional eating. Yeah, I'll have that. Maybe I'll have that extra slice or two that I didn't eat at dinner, or maybe even say pizza for lunch. I had an extra slice too. I didn't, but that doesn't mean I need to blow it during dinner too. I can just hit the reset button and go. And that's so that practice of like the little things and finding a thing and just not letting it spiral it's so hard. But it's simple,
Yeah.
But it's not as easy to do as you would think and hope.
I would also say, Eric, I mean, and maybe this is something now having lost both parents, right? Thinking about you talking, like holding on to those things during the day. If you zoom that out into what that means for the long term, like, I mean, I talked to my dad almost every single day, right?
Mhm.
Like, even though he was in Jersey, every single time I would walk out of work, I would always call him. And, there were these little things like you're saying that he would hold on to, and he'd be like bitching about, like, oh, the neighbor's complaining about my tractor, or like, oh God, I can never find out, like whatever it was that would cause him, angst and all of that. Or bigger things like relationships that he had that he would kind of fixate on and ruminate on and repeat over and over again, the things that they said and this and that. And then like to have lost him so suddenly and to see like, holy shit, and now the good thing is my dad also enjoyed the hell out of his life.
Yeah.
But like just to see, like I was just talking to him about, these stupid little irritations that were bothering him. And then that was just all gone, like, like all gone. And I think that after seeing that both with the two parents, it really helps me. So maybe the next time you're carrying the Empress on your shoulders, just stop and think like, why? Let go that which does not serve you, right? Like this is not serving me. And if I were to die tomorrow, why the hell am I going to spend my day holding on to these negative emotions? Let that shit go. And if it's something that you can't let go, then fucking fix it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, don't hold on to, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I say this? Should I do that? Man, and then fucking do something about it. And I'm not saying fucking to you. I'm saying that to myself too, right? Like the or my dad's favorite phrase, shit or get off the pot. Like I think I personally, after going through what I've been through, I am done with hemming and hawing and like if there's something in my life that I am unhappy about, I'm just going to commit to fixing it. And all those other thoughts and that boiling inside, fucking let that shit go and move forward.
It's either fix it or let it go.
Fix it or let it go. Because it's not worth the angst in the grand scheme of things. That is a waste of life to spend time in that emotional state.
Do you guys think it's interesting that you still devolved into a false binary?
Let that shit go or do something about it? I would say no, that's not a false binary, because in doing something about it, Jack, I've learned from you, that could be leaning into it, right? I'm not saying cut it off or keep it in. Like doing something about it means acknowledging it, digging into it, understanding it more. That doesn't necessarily mean a one or the other. Mm-hmm. It means though facing it, not escaping it. And maybe
so when you say fix, what you're meaning is just face it, acknowledge it.
Face it. Yeah. Don't let it control you in kind of an unidentified form, but actually face it. Okay, what's causing this irritation? What's causing this pain? How do I move through this so that I'm not just feeling angst or anger? I'm actually doing something about it, acknowledging it in whatever way that looks. And as Jack would say, even if that means doing nothing, at least if you're acknowledging it, sometimes that can be doing something.
So real quick, speaking of doing something, Joan, go ahead and on your screen, take your mouse and click on the little settings button at the bottom, the little anchor or the little cog looking wheel thing.
Yeah.
Go to your audio.
Okay.
And see if that echo cancellation button is clicked
It is.
Yeah.
Am I echoing?
Yeah. Anytime you're talking and then one of us comes in, we still hear.
Okay.
It's like taking the time. Actually, though, that's
It almost sounds like a little background.
I pulled it closer. Is that better?
That's what she said.
Bam, there it is. Wow, man, it took you 40 fucking minutes to get there.
There's another one.
That would be impressive.
Yeah.
Exhausting for
That's not
everybody.
Short.
Short and intense. That's
No, Jack, variety.
No.
No, it's like CrossFit, man. You got to have different modes, different ranges of length and speed.
No benefit of a 40-minute workout. Anything over 15 minutes is a waste of time.
I'm sorry you feel that
still
way.
2 times too long.
All right.
2 workouts in 15 minutes.
With the nap.
Now you're talking my language.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That is better, by the way. It sounds like it went away. The echo went away.
Okay. I'll just
There you go.
closer. Okay.
Sorry, backtrack a little bit. What do you mean what did you mean a false binary?
So the creation of that there's only 2 solutions. Let it go or fix it.
Yeah.
Right? That's where you guys were hovering. And isn't that an interesting tendency that we find ourselves falling into, that there's only 2 options available? Right? It creates false it's either this or that.
It's
You're
the
you're
black
either
and white thinking.
you're either a good guy or a bad guy. It's
Gotcha.
either right or wrong. So that the Manichaean good or evil, right? So there is no sort of like in between of, I mean, why? In a sense, like even that, right, Eric, you look at something. All right, so something happens in the morning and it puts you on a bad trajectory, and you hold on to it. What if there's another option in there, that there is something of worth in holding on to it? You know what I mean? If it allows you the opportunity to kind of sit with something that maybe is informing a choice, that by just saying like, well, I'm letting that go, right? Like, okay, well, you let it go, but it keeps coming back. Or if you sit with it, it's one of those like, here it is, and I have to be with it. And now all of a sudden it offers a completely different perspective on whatever it is that you would have never thought of if you either choose to let it go or instantly fix it. Yeah. Right. Like maybe. And
I put that in that's what I meant by fixing it back. Putting in the work to address it.
This is where Megan is just so wonderful, but she's so, like, she'll see it, and then, maybe later we have a conversation about it and be like, yeah, she came down and she asked for TV. And I'm like, and even though, I didn't say no, but I did tell her, like, not right now, but maybe we can watch something later. Right. And
so let me, can I interrupt? Can I interrupt you real quick?
Sure.
So you see though, how your response in that moment is fixing something, right? Like Fee is asking for something, and it's not just you, right? This is totally normal. We all do this. You're giving her something. You're giving her an answer. You're giving her attention. You're giving her still something. It's not what she wanted in the moment, but in a sense, do you even know what she wants?
Right.
You know what you want. Right. Maybe, but right, like so that's all. That there's still 2 solutions, which sometimes, fuck, man, like sometimes there are only 2 solutions, like, right? Like like there is a sense that the shit or get off the pot right? Like that is, well, maybe not. Maybe I want to read the rest of this article in the New York Times. Maybe I want to finish the Wordle. I don't know. Like, why do I have to shit, and why do I have to get off the pot? Maybe I want to draw something in the right, like in the steam in the shower or something.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to go to a different website. Like, there's all kinds of things that, like, so Fiona asks you, like, Dad, can I watch this show? And you, like, what are the myriad of other opportunities, options available in that moment, right? Like, I don't know. But that's all that, like, in that moment, if we are in the habit of creating and or type statements, it limits the possibilities of, and it's infinitely harder, but it limits the possibilities of other things being possible, which in my experience is sort of the only road to growth, because otherwise you just create railroad tracks, right? And you're just going to stay on those railroad tracks.
Yeah.
And to bring it all back to CrossFit, I mean, that's, the person who just does want to hop on the C2 bike and ride for, 15, 20 minutes and do that every day. I think that's the equivalent of what I'm talking about if you find yourself in the same mind cycle, right? You're asking the same questions every time. You're coming up with the same answers every time. I think my, like, shit or get off the pot is like, well, let's throw some goblet squats in there, right? Like, let's think about, okay, you can't do pull-ups, but maybe even just hanging on the bar, like working on that mobility. So I guess in this analogy, if you are constantly feeling the same frustration in response to Fee, and you're coming up with the same, trying a new avenue rather than just repeating that frustration and the same reaction every time.
And one thing I said I was even going to get to as well is, like, thinking about the words I say, and then coming at it from her end, where I'll say to Fee, maybe we can do it later. Well, Fee really has, like, no concept of time. And so later could mean forever. And so that's like I could say Fee in 10 minutes, and she doesn't really have a concept of what 10 minutes is. And so that's another thing too, is like trying to look at it from her point of view too. Like, I could have maybe, like you said, I was trying to fix something, but maybe there's other ways to approach that are more on her level, something that she's able to, because all she really heard was no. And whether I said 10 minutes or 10 hours, it's all the same to her. And so that's where it's being, so you're right, like sitting with him, when that's what I said, where Meg's so great, because she'll always come back to it. She won't let it go, as in, like, she doesn't hang on to it as like a time for a lecture, but she's so good at, like, coming back to it and, like, hey, remember when this thing happened? Like, think about it from this side of it. And it's like, yeah, that actually, like, makes way more sense. And it's she's good like that. She was definitely born to be a mom. She's got that, like, this is definitely, she's really good at it. She's really good at it. And so anyway, yeah, so going back to the just going back to that, yeah, it's I forget where I was going with, but yeah, just
so in the spirit of Jones linking it back to CrossFit, it's also, right, like, you sell yourself short, pretty sure you're a pretty good dad, and
very, very good dad.
Yeah, and you're a pretty phenomenal coach. So what is it that facilitates you being able to offer sort of what appears to be like off the cuff options and solutions for an athlete who needs modifications or scales for a specific movement?
Years of practice and experience.
Yeah. Like pre-prep work that there aren't really an infinite number. I mean, there are, but there aren't really an infinite number of scales or modifications for a pull-up or a handstand push-up. or a squat, right? Like, or a snatch or whatever, right? Like there's like 3 or 4 go-tos. They all work, you know what I mean? And it's like, you've done it 1,000 times, but the individual athlete, it's their first time. So what looks like to them, right? Like, oh my God, that guy's a fucking genius. You're like, sure, to you. But right, like I've watched a million videos, I've seen this, I've done it. So in a sense, it's that same, right? Like translate that over to this idea of being a parent. Here's this 7-year-old who, right? Like this is the only thing that is important in the world is watching that show. But you have so many other concerns that you're worrying about. But at the same time, you have so many other options to offer her. Or it could be, right, where her superpower is that specificity of concern. Your superpower is you got all the time in the world, right? Like you do understand the concept of time. You do know that though for the next 30 seconds, it's going to be like, it's going to be like super uncomfortable and painful. But you also know in 30 seconds, she's going to forget about it. And you're probably going to forget about it. Yeah. So it's sort of like it can be, okay, well, where's the remote? Right. Just kill them with questions of like, all right, how do you turn the TV on, find the channel? Like, forget it. I don't feel like it. I'll do something else. Right. And that's my mom, the Carol Ryan move, right? She never said no, right? Mom, I want to go over to Chris's house. All right. How you getting there? Well, can you drive? I don't have a car. You ride your bike? Who's going to be there? How long are you going to stay? Did you already do this? Did you already do that? Did you already? Forget it.
Never mind.
Yeah.
In the morning, Eric, that's, both girls are like, oh, can we watch some TV in the morning when we're trying to get out the door? And I'm like, sure. Yeah, you can watch TV as soon as you have your clothes on, your teeth are brushed, your hair is brushed, your socks and shoes are on, you've gone to the bathroom, then absolutely you can watch TV. Yes. Right. And then, of course, by the time they do all this, can we watch it now? I'm like, wear your socks and shoes. But the time they're done, well, guys, it's time to leave, But the answer was yes. Sure. Yes, of course. As long as this and that happens. Yeah. So it's just kind of reframing it can help with them.
Yeah, it's funny. It's that, when you do this, then we can do this. Like kind of phrasing that, like, when you do this, then we can do this. And then it kind of puts that accountability on them. Yes. So then it's like, we have 20 minutes. So when you do this, then we can do this, but we only have 20 minutes. And if it takes you 20 minutes to get ready, well, we had 20 minutes and it took you 19. So we did not have time to watch it because you did not get prepared fast enough. And so
the cool thing is when you have many of them now, like Juliana's like, come on, Luch, like, here are your socks, then they start helping each other so that they can move through it quicker. And it's just like, okay, doesn't always work, but it can work.
Sometimes they're so fast. Like sometimes I can't get over how fast they get it done. I'm like, oh, we got plenty of time. And then sometimes it's just, we're not doing that thing. There's going to be no time for it. Oh man, they're so funny. I have to quick moment. I have to share because I feel like you guys, Jack, probably you in particular, have probably seen this in me. But we had this moment yesterday where we were getting ready to go to the pool. We were looking for water bottles. I said, "Hey, Fee, there's a pink water bottle upstairs on your nightstand next to the bed. Can you go grab it and bring it down?" And she goes, "Okay." Before she does, she like walks over to Axel and starts playing with Axel for a minute, right? And then I'm like, "Hey, Fee, water bottle." She's like, "Oh yeah." And then she starts walking toward the steps to the soccer ball, and she starts kicking the soccer ball around. I'm like, "Fee, we gotta go. Can you go get that water bottle?" She goes, "Oh yeah." And she goes upstairs, and she's upstairs for 2 or 3 minutes. I start hearing singing from upstairs, and she comes back downstairs, and there's like 3 or 4 stuffed animals in her hands.
No water bottle.
I go, "Hey, Fee." She goes, "Yeah." I go, "Water bottle." "Oh yeah." She goes upstairs, and Megan's looking at her like, oh my God. And I'm laughing so hard because she and I are thinking the exact same thing. She goes, she is your daughter. Like, this is 100% you. It was so funny. So it was 100% watching me try to get a task done without like laser focus. It was so funny. But anyway,
I'm so glad, Eric, by the way, that you've been, because you've talked about it on the podcast before, that you've been re-understanding ADD brain and all of that, right? The truth is, it's like the way that your brains work, and I think my brother, I put in this camp as well. Like, even though you may not have that more linear understanding of tasks, like Jack and I can be like, get a task done. The way that your brains make these amazing connections is like a freaking superpower. So I'm glad that you're like, I feel like you're coming to understand a little bit more. Okay, this is how my brain works. And sure, maybe it doesn't mean that I can get tasks done in the exact same way as a Jack. But you also have these gifts because of how your brain works, right? Like, there was Fee making a connection with Axel, right? She's, I mean, it's just a different way of coming at the world. So yeah, I'm glad to see you coming to more of a self-acceptance with how that is for you. And I see you like leaning into that and maybe leveraging it as a strength rather than, some self-hatred or something. So I see you working on it, and it's awesome.
There are definitely times though where people will do something, and I'll look over at Meg and be like, and I realize it's just like me, and I'm like, babe, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry that I can see how it can also be frustrating. So it's yeah. So anyway, enough about me. This isn't my podcast.
Yes, it is. Of course it is.
Okay. Gosh. So I don't know where to go from here, Joan. I love having you on. It's so much fun talking to you. It was it was so fun at the because it's cool. Like, you're in there and like seeing Steph and Chad back in there, and then been hooked up with Allie more, and it's like, it's cool. It's like feeling like the I don't know. There's like, if we get that crew in there.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's like Drew comes in and out in streaks.
I was thinking about that. I mean, I'm like so invested in Fairwinds and in this community. It's ridiculous. Like, I just have an enormous vested interest. Of course, starting in the garage with that amazing crew. And I keep working at, we're getting Allie in on the edges. We got Steph back, and returning that crew. We got to get Duncan to come back and drop in.
Yeah, I saw that video that like my phone just creates like random albums. It's like, hey, check out this album we made for you with music and slideshow and everything. And it's all Duncan. It was all Duncan. And it's like my phone just wanted me to know that you still miss Andrew Duncan.
Oh my gosh.
But I love the pictures that pop up constantly too from the garage, Jack. Like, it's so it was it's fun. It's funny. It's so, I don't know, like it was so, not that it's not happy and fun now. It's just different, right? But like, the garage, and then that, that initial, like those first few months in the garage when you and I were doing it together, and then into the gym, like, it's so, like, we go back to Jack where we had, it was like a marriage, but it's like, that was such a honeymoon. Like, everything was new and fresh and fun and exciting. And then as time goes, like, you get into the dredges, and it's not, like I said, I still enjoy this, and I still love this, and I look forward to this every day. It's so different. It's funny how these phases in life, like, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business, whether it's, in a home, like when we moved, like we were so excited to be in this house, but also there's days where like, I can't believe we're in this goddamn house. Like, the disposal needs to be replaced, and there's no central air, and I'm sweating my, what's off. And it's, but it has these ebbs and flows, and it all feels so much the same, just in different places. But going back to these pictures of the garage when you were like sort of pregnant, sort of pregnant, like, and like the rickety, like Aerodyne. I have this one picture. I think it's you and Steph. You're kind of pregnant, and it's like one of those like Aerodyne bikes out in the driveway. That I think like Rob rolled up with that he saw like I don't know someone was like giving away, and it was cool. And I was always go back to how fun it was like making it work too. Like we didn't have all the equipment, but you could make everything work. And
I would say just
right.
Maybe in response to that, like any good relationship, it's kind of like what we were talking about, fighting the urge to binary thinking. Like, yes, those were great freaking days and so much fun and so exciting. But like, I still feel tastes of that and little sparks of that. Like, you know, Eric, when we're doing like a weightlifting day with you, and it sometimes just feels like those old days, or when, you know, we do get like Allie to drop in and Steph's there, and it's, you know, and it's the old crew. So I think, yes, that was a beautiful, wonderful time, but now I have an even deeper appreciation. And it's like any good relationship that this is just a new phase and a new appreciation. And God, I freaking love CrossFit. When we were doing, we were doing that complex with snatches.
Yeah.
And been doing this now over 7 years. And it's like, I hit one great complex. It was power snatch and then hang snatch and then a high, hang squat snatch and then high hang squat snatch. Yeah. And it's like, it just went weightless, right? Like it was on, and I was like, over 7 years of working on a snatch for like one solid complex, there's still moments of that excitement and lots of high points.
There's are there certain workouts too that like trigger, like whenever Jackie shows up, I immediately go to this. There was this one morning, I don't even think we were like I think I was still at TrueCore, but I was just like popping in to work out with you a couple mornings. And I remember Jackie, you ran Jackie this way where how many rowers did you have in the garage? Do you remember? 4? 3? 2?
Yeah.
And I think, I still remember you basically ran it in it was like, maybe there was 6 people and you like at 3, 2, 1 go, partner 1 goes, but partner 2 has to go at the 5-minute mark. So it was kind of like pushing like, waterfall. And then partner 3 goes to the 10-minute mark and that kind of waterfall. And every time Jackie pops up in a watt, I always go right back to that. Cause I think it was me, Drew, and Duncan. And I just remember it. I could probably even I can still smell it. Like it was morning and it was dewy and it was
you, Drew, and Duncan. So there is some good odor in there. That herb was like, please help me.
Drew hacking 700 meters into the 1,000.
And now I reassured new people. Nothing's gonna come up. I promise. He just does this. It won't come up.
He's fine. He's fine. He does this. This is his.
Someone's throwing up. No, it's just Drew.
It's just Drew. That's what he does. That's his thing.
So that's your smell and taste and sounds. What was the taste of Jackie that morning?
Oh man, the taste of Jackie. I don't know if I have a taste. I can't say I have a taste, but I would just dry mouth once it's all said and done. But some of those particular benchmarks like pop up, and it's like, oh man, that one it's just immediately like if it was a TV show, it would immediately like flash back, like cut to, and it pops up, and those were always that was fun.
Yes,
that was fun. Next time Jackie shows up, I think I'm going to do a wave like that just to put the pressure.
Let's do it.
Because I like that too sometimes when the workout calls for rowing, but we don't have enough rowers. Mm-hmm. So people are like, I'll use a C2 bike. Like, no. Everyone's going to use a rower today, and here's why. Boom. And it works out great.
So do you see echoes of that philosophy showing up in Adrian Bosman's programming? The sense that there's like time gaps or time gates. Remember the one from the last games where they had a row? There was right, elite. It was elite Jackie. They had they had to row the 1,000. I think the guys had to row it in under 320. The women had to row it under 350 or 340 or something like that, 345. And then they had heavy thrusters and bar muscle ups. But so so that sense of, I mean, there's an article, I think it's actually a journal article that Glassman talks about, where they only had, so many ropes and so many something or whatever, and he would set it up, or maybe it's a Annie Sakamoto interview or something, and she's like, yeah, he would pair me behind a new guy, and then basically say to the guy, you better not fucking let her catch you.
Yeah.
And then he would lean over to Annie and be like, if you don't fucking catch him, you don't get to come back tomorrow. And so like both of them now have that artificiality of competition, but individually with themselves. And clearly, I mean, Glassman's an amazing coach. He would, if anything, like if they did get caught, there was a room for celebration of like, right. Hey, you caught him. And then, man, you held her off. Do you know she's actually the fittest fucking person I've ever coached in my life type of thing? Yeah. Like, so there was always that opportunity to instigate a level of intensity that you yourself would never facilitate.
Yeah.
That was the magic of when you look at it and be like, I don't have enough barbells. I don't have enough bikes. You'd be like, instead, like, all right, I only have 3 barbells. How can we make this that much better because we only have 3 barbells?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So again, in the absence of a false binary, look at all the possibilities that blossom out of that creativity.
I mean, I think those few months just having that again, I say we don't have all the equipment, and it's like we had all the equipment we needed. We didn't have all the barbells for everyone. We didn't have all the wall balls. And I'd say like those few months of coaching like that, like were probably some of the most valuable times coaching, because you like now, like you can't stand there. You also can't stand there and be like, well, I only have 2 barbells. I guess I could maybe like you kind of got to know, like, think about it. Like, is it a pull, is it a push, or is it a squat? Like, are we hinging? Are we not hinging? Like, are we going overhead? Or are we going in front of the body? Like, it comes down to that. Like, you've got to know your stuff, because you got to be able to make things on the call without getting caught up.
Erica, sorry, but as you're saying that, I'm kind of dipping back into something that you were just talking about, like that honeymoon phase. Perhaps it's possible that why it felt like such a honeymoon phase is that you and Jack and us as a community were in such an exciting time of building and of growth, right? Like we were forced to be creative and innovative and to try new things. And so maybe rather than just long for that or miss that, we can try to inject some of that in to break up the routine now. Like, just because we do have all the equipment doesn't mean that we can't kind of get outside the box and come back to being creative and innovative. And again, I mean, that's something that Jack has taught me in the classroom, teaching with this guy for the last 7-8 years. I have my modes of teaching that I'm very comfortable in, and Jack constantly forces me out of my comfort zone. And he's like, all right, sure, this is working, but let's throw all of that out and let's try this new thing. And I'm like so uncomfortable. And thanks to the fact that Jack continually does that, he makes me grow as a teacher. He always makes it feel fresh in the classroom, so that it's not just this, like, everybody knows it's a routine. And therefore the teachers are always learning with the students. So maybe that's something we can strive for in the gym, is finding new ways to inject that creativity, freshness, growth mindset.
I immediately just thought to myself, I was like, okay, next time there's a day that has cleans, I'm gonna have 3 barbells, 3 sets of dumbbells, and 3 sandbags, and be like, this is all we have to clean today. So first come, first serve. Let's play.
And I'm telling you, that will feel like the garage. I mean, because that's what
special.
Well, yeah, that's what's special.
Yeah,
the unknown.
Jack. So, well, I know, Jack, you got a boogie in just a couple of minutes, so we do.
And just to fuck with them, once everyone picks, right? Because it'd be like one round and be like, all right, switch, right?
Yeah,
and then be like, wait, what? I bet switch.
Love it.
That'll be fun.
And now everyone go for a 400-meter run. What? And then when they come back, be like, there's that sand pit in the back. Go get Sandy.
Now jump in the creek.
Yeah.
And for the love of God, take a shower before you leave. And if you find a 25-pound
that would
plate,
be memorable.
Yeah, if you find a 25-pound plate, pick it up.
Please.
Or actually, at this point, you should probably just leave it down there.
Who knows what's grown in it and around it?
Yeah, that one's been. We're gonna let that one go.
Let him go.
Hey, fair winds will forever be in the creek, regardless of whether the box is there or not. Fair winds will forever be a part of the creek.
That's right.
So,
That's
awesome.
right.
All right, we're still kicking off gratitudes.
Yeah.
Jenny, want to go first, or you need a sec?
No, I think I'll go, and I'll keep it short and maybe not too sappy, in the sense that both of you have quite literally, maybe literally. I know Jack gets on me when I use the word literally in a metaphorical term, but
Like
saved my life, literally. Jack, for starting me on this trajectory, on this CrossFit journey. It has taught me so freaking much about myself, about these different ways of approaching the world, clearly not just in fitness, but in my life. So thank you for that. And then for Eric, I was talking to you about how I have watched you grow into this new role, and I'm so impressed by you. And I see just how much heart and effort you're putting into it. And I never want you to feel like you're not appreciated, or that the little things that you do are not seen. So, thank you for continuing to make this a place that we can come to be a community and to have these very life affirming experiences with fair winds, inside and outside. So thank you both for everything that you've given to me, and for giving me tools, honestly, to face these really tough life hurdles. I seriously think a lot of it comes from what I've learned from both of you over the last years.
Oh, thanks, John. Beautiful.
I just keep trying to figure out how to get rid of her. I'm totally kidding.
I won't go away.
Oh God.
Oh man.
As full disclosure, Erica, she's getting ready to come over to the house because we're going to do Andy's birthday WOD today.
He's not on. Does he know? I didn't want to say.
Waiting for her to pop up. I guess he's.
Nah, he was dropping Maddie off, and then dropping the twins off at daycare, and then making his way over. So
awesome.
Maybe he is. Maybe he's listening to it on his phone. I don't know. And spoiler!
I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. That was fun.
I don't know. Mine's very simple. Mine's my cousin, first cousin on my dad's side of the family. It's my dad's older brother, passed away, God, probably almost 20 plus years ago now. It's my Uncle Mike, but he has two sons, Mike and Sean. And so it's my cousin Sean. Reached out like a week ago, texted a whole handful of us, and just, he's a teacher, and he's got the month of July off, and he was like, we want to come see, he and his wife now have a son, Will, and they're like, we want to come see all the first cousins. And so he's coming down. He's going to come down the Monday, July, I think 24th or whatever. But right, it was fascinating to see him mimic the same sort of traits that my dad does, where and it's something I mentioned last week or week before about what Nicole said about we're at that stage with the boys of, right, we don't really have, I mean, there's some control and stuff, but you find strategies to just get in their way, and then and then they have to participate with you. So she got in the golf cart with them. She's not going to go play golf, but she's just riding around with them and just hanging out. And so now it's sort of I want to be in bed by 8:30, but they don't get home until 9:30. So I stay, I've followed her lead. She stays up and just hangs out in the kitchen until they get in, and they're making food and stuff. And then you actually get a chance to talk to them about stuff. So it's if you try and put them on your schedule, never going to happen. But if you just find ways, so he is being, my cousin Sean is being like my dad, where it's he'll come to us. And I find I do that. I have started doing that too, where it's I'll just drive to you, right? I'll just come to you. And in a sense, I haven't told Nicole this or whatever, but it's stimulating in me again, the desire to get the fitness van.
Yeah.
And just load it with pyro and stuff. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But like that, like there's like a philosophical approach to, there is a benefit or there is a value in, like, yes, make the people come to you, but then also like be the entity that comes to someone, because it's actually, as jokingly as we said that, Joan, about like, I'm just trying to get rid of her, like there's an unavoidable, like, you have to deal with me. Like, you have to acknowledge that I'm here. You can't not, like, I am inside your shirt. Like, you can't make me go away. So it's like, jokingly, right? Like, that's hyperbolic, but that's like, all right, fuck, I guess I got to face it. And in a sense, that's like, yeah, you have to deal with this. And so like, if that's all the negative look at it, the positive is like, holy shit, I would have never had the opportunity to have this fun, to have this experience, because those are the effing experiences that matter. So he's coming down the July 24th. And anyway, he's my gratitude. He always has been. Sean and I, like, growing up, people thought I was their brother. Like, I was in between, or maybe Mike and I think are same age. And then Sean's like a year younger, year and a half younger. They were Irish twins, though we all look Italian because their mom was Italian. My mom was Italian. And all three of us take after like our mom, more of like our mom's side physically. And so whenever I would go on vacation or with them, they'd be like, Rose, we didn't know you had a third son. And so, yeah. Anyway, my cousin Sean Ryan, coming down.
That's awesome.
Cool. I'll keep it quick. Mine is Louis Cavallini, who is the owner of Cow Harbor CrossFit in Long Island.
Oh,
I thought he made that. I thought he was the maker of those jeans from the late 80s, early 90s.
Cavallini's.
Cavallini jeans.
Cavallini's. Yeah.
But yeah, he was. So I've met him through Affiliate U, and I've had phone conversations and text conversations back and forth with him through some stuff. And I got a chance to actually like physically meet him in Denver when I was out there. But he had left because it was his son's second birthday. He left a day early, so I didn't get a chance to hang out with him much. Drove home to Long Island to pick up his kids, or pick up his son and his wife, and then they drove down to Disney World. On their way back to Long Island from Disney World, it was earlier this week. He shoots me a text. He's like, "Hey, so I'm on my way home from Florida, and we're gonna be in the Annapolis. We're gonna be like driving by Annapolis around like 12 or 12:30. Where's a good place to get lunch? I need to get the guy out to get some energy out." And I suggested like there's the pier in Edgewater. They have like a little playground. Like, you get the food's okay, but at least there's a place you can play. I was like, or there's a Chick-fil-A right off the highway with a play place. He's like, Chick-fil-A it is. And I was like, do you mind if I meet you? Like, because I had to go run errands and stuff anyway. So I had Everett with me. So I went and met up with him, and the kids played, and I got to meet his wife, which was really cool. I got to meet his son's 2 years old. And so he and Everett had a blast together. But we were there for like an hour and a half. And it was really cool. Like, we talked CrossFit a little bit, but it was also just really cool to like get to know this guy a little bit better. And so it was, I really appreciated him like reaching out and being like, hey, I'm going to be in the area. And so that was really, really cool. And so, yeah, he's an awesome dude. Cow Harbor CrossFit.
Those Long Island people, good people.
And they have a very cool anchor in their logo as well. So we're like anchor bros. That was cheesy. Okay, cool. But yeah, that was it.
It wasn't. I totally appreciate that. Anchors are awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're foundational.
Yeah. Good stuff. Cool. All right. Well, thanks so much, Joe.
I love you guys. You're
You too.
amazing.
Same.
One of those.
All right.
Awesome.
Adios.
We're out of here.
See y'all.